Hello, everyone. It's me, the Enlightened One, your favorite cartoon friend. And this week, we are doing Wrestling with the Paranormal, just stories. So we'll be going back into the vault and pulling out a story with no mess, no fluff. And this week, it's the Warminster Thing. Enjoy.
The Warminster Thing.
So this is happening in Christmas of 1964. You have two police officers that were assigned to kind of begrudgingly. There were some break-ins in some farmhouses. Out in the outskirts of Warminster. And
Where's that?
Hmm?
Where's that?
Warminster is in the UK, right around Stonehenge area, in the county of, what was it? The county of, had it on the tip of my tongue.
Wiltshire?
Yes, we actually have a friend that's in the wrestling leagues, from Wiltshire. But that's why I remembered it. Well, I didn't remember.
Lots of
You
spooky
did.
stuff in England. We know this from doing the show before.
Yeah, so let's get right into Stonehenge. Happens right there in Wiltshire, in Warminster. So there's already some mystical stuff going on there. There's a lot of wars between the civil wars between Scotland and England and all that stuff. But back to our police officers. I believe their names are it's Willie and Waycott. Yeah, that's right, Willie and Waycott. So they're assigned to go to the boony area of Warminster, and they're supposed to check in for some break-ins, and they get through doing their job. They're like, okay, we've done a few patrols. Let's head back to town, and we'll have a nice break. I guess go to a coffee shop or something. I don't know. And all of a sudden, Willie slams on the brakes, and Wake Up wants to know what's going on, and he sees Willie pointing up in the sky, and there's this strange light that is hovering above them, and it's a pattern of lights that are they look like a cross almost, and when the I guess that's a UFO of some sort. When it notices them, seeing them, it begins to take off. And Willie and Waycott, they decide to pursue it. And so they're pursuing this star cross, and they're just bewildered. This thing is going so fast, and it's obviously playing mind games with them because they could easily take off at any second, right? So it's playing games with them, and eventually it decides to just poof out of nowhere, and it's gone, and they tell the story, and it's crazy. So Christmas morning, that's right, Christmas morning in 1964. Mildred Head, she awakes to noises on her roof.
It's Santa.
Yeah, she's thinking Santa's here. Bring me some presents. But it's like twigs or branches being dragged around her roof. And she shoots up and she's looking around. She can't figure it out. And then all of a sudden, it turns into thud, like hail on the roof. So it sounds. And so she goes to the window, checks what it is, and it's a clear night sky. You can see the stars in the sky. And she doesn't understand what's going on. And the next day, in the morning, we have another person. Her name is Marjorie By. and she is on her way to Christmas Mass in the morning to go get the Christmas communion. And obviously she hears this strange cackling laughter. And she doesn't know what it is, but the closer she walks towards the church, it's like this thing is getting closer to her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's getting closer, and all of a sudden she gets hit with what she describes as vibrations, like shock waves, to her head and to her shoulders. And she's almost paralyzed. She can't move forward. It's like some sort of force is coming at her, and she can't move. And she forces herself to keep moving, and she moves past it slowly, and then she just kind of runs, and she goes and hides in the church. Now she gets to the church, and she tells her story to everyone there, what's going on and what just happened to her. And one of the guys there works for the newspaper, so he prints her story, and 30 people come forward with similar stories to what she has. And one of them is from, where do I go? Oh, Roger Rump. His name is, how did I forget that name? Roger Rump.
Roger Rump.
Roger Rump in the house.
Mr. Rump.
Mr. Rump. Now, he had the exact same experience as our first lady, was named Mildred, where he woke up in the middle of the night. There's something on his roof. There's noises. I forgot to mention with Mildred, there was a humming right after the hail.
Right.
And it was so bad that she had to like just cover her ears, and it slowly started getting quieter, and then it subsided. And that was the same with Roger Rump. He had something moving on his roof, and then he had loud noises, and then the humming. The other thing that would happen would be from the soldiers at the nearby army base. They would report of hearing loud noises in the middle of the night, almost as if a chimney stack had crashed down. And you know how big a chimney stack is, right?
Right.
It had crashed down and shattered like all bits everywhere. But when they woke up in the morning, they went out to think that something was out there. Absolutely no damage to anything. And
So the sound of a crash, but no evidence of anything crashing.
yeah, and the feel and the vibrations of a crash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what, like when you hear a car crash, you kind of
Yeah.
feel it, even though it's almost a block away.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And and that's my account of the Warminster Thing.
The Warminster Thing! So 1964, this is going to continue into early 1965 in the area. The camp, by the way, was called Knock Camp. I thought that was kind of funny and interesting. The base. The base where the military is called the Knock Camp. It's a base. It's a base called Knock Camp. It's a weird name for a base.
I tell you, those English folk have some weird names for things. Roger Rump.
Roger Rump. If this house is humming, don't come a rumping.
Now, if he had a big ass, it would be funny. He just got this big ass. I'm Roger Rump.
Yeah, you are. Damn, that boy's a rump. Okay, where was I? So another one of the military officers, he reported a story. He shared this actually with the newspaper, that the major was driving, and suddenly, and this is around the same time, January 1965, so just after Christmas, he's driving and suddenly his engine cuts out. So he's stuck in the car. The car's not moving anymore. And it starts vibrating. The whole thing starts vibrating. The chassis of the car is just like vibrating wildly. He's hearing this humming noise. He's feeling a pressure building up in the car. You know, like when you have like a a migraine almost, or like a pressure headache. You know, like the weather pressure, you can like feel it. He's feeling that, and he's getting scared that like something's going on inside the car. It reaches this deafening crescendo. He like can't hear anything but this insanely loud hum. It's getting louder and louder and louder. All of a sudden, it stops. Yeah, this is what the Warminster Thing is. It's this sound that people are encountering. All of a sudden, it stops. There's complete silence, and his car just starts again, and then he just goes on his way. Yeah. So what the hell was that, right? We've got more witnesses. It just keeps continuing into January. 5 Ash Lane is a house in Warminster. Witnesses. So the witness of this house said he came outside in the morning and there was an entire flock of pigeons dead on his front lawn. Yeah. So could you imagine you wake up and you walk out and there's a whole flock of pigeons just dead on your lawn? It's like something
mad. I got to clean those things up, right?
Well, it's like they would have had to all get attracted to your house, and then something killed them too. So it's really creepy to think about it. Was it the sound? Right? Was it the lights in the sky?
Think of those pigeon funerals you got to have.
I think there's a level of animal where you stop having a funeral for it. You know, like
what's that level?
Well, I actually attended a rat funeral. I had a friend who had a pet rat. I did attend a rat funeral. So I guess it all depends on if you have made the animal your pet.
Okay, so if you don't know these pigeons, you don't owe them no funeral.
That's right. But if they were your pet,
or they came to visit you, or you fed them, you know, that counts.
Yeah, maybe. I have a friend who has the same crow visit his house and eat out of a bird feeder. It's got like a weird beak, so he knows it's
if that crow died, you'd be a little sad.
Yeah, you'd be sad. I don't know if you'd have that's a gray area if that's when would you have a funeral? When do you have a funeral for an animal? That is really
we're off track here by like.
But you're right. That's too many pigeons to have. I mean, you'd have to have one big funeral, I guess.
Yes, that's fair. You can have a big funeral for all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what pigeon meat is called?
No,
Squab.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Do you know that there's a name for human meat? This is way off topic. Yeah. It's called it's called long pork.
I've heard that before. Yes.
Yes, that's what long pork is.
I forgot about it
because we have long muscles and our meat is called long pork.
And apparently we taste similar to pork.
Weird. What a weird world.
Yes.
So if you're at the supermarket and you see long pork for sale, I mean,
phone the police.
Phone the police. Okay, so sightings keep going. Most of the sightings of the Warminster Thing are concentrated to Christmas 1964 and January 1965, but they don't completely stop. They do kind of peter out, even all the way up to August 10th. I think this is one of the later ones. In August 10th, a lorry driver hears some strange sounds, and above his lorry where he's driving, he sees a fiery light in the sky, and it veers towards him and then veers off. Okay, so similar to the story that you started with. So there are these lights in the sky are still involved. Do you know what a lorry is?
I think it's a truck.
Yeah, I think that's just what British people call trucks.
I think it's a smaller truck.
It's a smaller truck?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, oh, get a ride on a lorry. That's an Australian accent. Top of the morning, governor. All right, so I've got one more sighting here. Actually, no, I got two more sightings. Rachel Atwell is awoken by a droning sound. She sees a bright light 60 feet above the ground outside her window. She experiences extreme headaches, and then the object vanishes. Now, we've got a big one in summer 1965 near Lake Shearwater. This is southwest of Warminster. So 17 people saw this. Okay, so this is another one of those cases where a lot of people see the same.
I love those mass sightings.
It's a mass sighting. 17 people. They see a large cigar-shaped object in the sky. So this is during the day. They hear the sound, and some people are so shocked that they fall into the water. George is being weird.
That's straight up.
And the final sighting, oddly enough, is Christmas 1965. Isn't that weird?
It starts on Christmas. It ends on Christmas.
It ends on Christmas. And then it kind of passes into local legend. People talk about it for decades. People are still talking about it now. There's even a memorial 50 years later. So that would have been 2005. So yeah, there is. So this is, this is kind of Warminster's claim to fame. They even have a mural commemorating the 50-year anniversary of the sightings. So that would be 2014. 2014.
So it's their town's claim to fame now. It's like
the Warminster Thing. Yeah. Warminster, you just say the thing. Like, oh, I had a headache the other day. And then, oh, that's the thing. Right?
Yeah. So what I found interesting about the Christmas thing is almost like the Star of Bethlehem with the light at the beginning.
But I thought it was just a spaceship. Don't you think it's a UFO though?
Well, it was lights that's shaped like a cross. So are they trying to pull off a Bethlehem thing, or are they trying to do a little hint at that?
Because it's Christmas, yeah.
They didn't want her to go to church. They were stopping her.
And they were stopping her from going to church. Okay. That is weird. It's almost like she had to pass through a force field to get to the church, right? Like she had to push up against something, kind of, right?
And the laughter, the cackling laughter. That part is the most interesting to me, is the cackling laughter. The other stuff, there's like moving things around. There's humming. But she said she felt like a shockwave come against her.
Yeah. Humming we've heard before from Skinwalker Ranch or the Stardust Ranch. I can't remember. Something I was going to mention, Stonehenge. Okay, it's really close to Stonehenge. So the theory with Stonehenge, this is an ancient theory of ancient civilizations, is that there's ley lines. So these ley lines, have you ever heard of these before?
No.
So a ley line, I think it might just be British, but no, actually, I think other cultures think this too. A ley line is like a river of energy that goes through certain parts of the country, and where they meet, kind of like where rivers like fork and meet, that's where you make a structure of power like Stonehenge to do like rituals or spirits or whatever, right?
That is really interesting. So it's,
and that's why, and that's, people think that this is why there's so many paranormal things that happen in Britain, because Britain apparently is crisscrossed with ley lines. Like a lot of the churches or a lot of the ancient ritual sites were always built on these ley lines, and it was like, and I don't know how people find them. I don't know if people.
Hey, look, there's a ley line.
Well, I guess you'd have to feel the energy. Maybe there's tools that they use to find them. I tried to watch some videos about them, and it was hard to get a lot of information. Mostly it was just people trying to figure out if they're real or not. But yeah.
But yeah, the cackling laughter, the sonic booms, like.
Okay, sonic booms. Here's another theory. Military testing for sonic weaponry. Do you think it might have been, because there is a military base here. We've got some officers reporting on it, but they might not have been involved with the experimental equipment. That could have been like a different part of the base, right? And they didn't tell everybody what was going on, because the military does have sonic weapons for breaking up crowds.
Yeah, but you'd have to have some invisible powers too. Go up on people's roofs and stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah, like what are they shooting it from the church? Like it's. Yeah,
it's too crazy. I don't think it. I think I think it's some sort of alien or demonic thing. I don't know, but some sort of spiritual thing. I think.
And also weird that it lasted for 1 year to the day.
Christmas to Christmas. That's crazy.
Christmas to Christmas, yeah. So it's a very strange occurrence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like screw you and your Christian holiday.
Oh my God. Is it people trying to get rid of Christmas? Back in 1965, the war on Christmas started in 1964. That's how far back it goes. Wow.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And they said, we're going to keep doing this unless you say happy holidays.